My reputation at my previous workplace went downhill, but luckily I had the opportunity to leave before I could change anything. I realized that it would be best to just leave and start over. In this video, I will tell you what happened, what I have learned, and how I built a good reputation at my current workplace. You might be unknowingly ruining your reputation, so you might want to stick around and learn from my mistakes and see the things that you shouldn't be doing. The things I have seen, I have been through a lot. If you're new here, hi, my name is Yvonne, and on this channel, I share my personal experiences, career, and personal finance tips to make your life as an immigrant a bit more easier. So I'll highly recommend that you subscribe and like this video so you don't miss any videos from me. You see this thing called reputation. It can literally make or break your career in the corporate world, especially if you are an immigrant like me. No one really teaches us how to build it. You just get thrown in there and hope for the best. But I'm here, so you don't have to worry. I will show you the unspoken rules that can change everything. You don't have to be the loudest or the smartest, but if people trust your name, baby, you've already won. So let's dive right in.
Use like a magnet, lose won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours.
So your skills will get you the job, but your reputation is what keeps you there or gets you promoted. People talk, and it's not always in a bad way, but it's in a way that decides if you get invited to opportunities or if you are quietly left out. And when you are new, people don't know you yet. So what they will do is they will observe, because action speaks louder, right? So in the first 90 days, you are basically laying the foundation. Be on time, learn people's names, introduce yourself with confidence, and ask thoughtful questions. In my previous workplace, when I started very new there, I was scared to ask questions because I thought it would make me look stupid. But I realized that actually I'm new here and people don't really expect me to know much. And I was a junior at the time. The amount of abbreviations that were thrown at me, ATMT, HDMI, HIV. No, but seriously though, some of the abbreviations I even searched on Google, I couldn't find the full meaning, so I had to ask. So please ask questions, ask clarifying questions. It will help you to avoid some mistakes. Your reputation is your currency. Another thing is communication. So at my previous workplace, I had built a reputation for myself. The foundation wasn't very strong, but my reputation wasn't bad. It was just somewhere in the middle, hanging in there. However, it all came tumbling down after 2 years. I used to say it was because of office gossip and backbiting, but after a few months of self-reflection, I realized it was because of lack of
communication. Hello, lack of communication.
So what happened was I was moved to a new unit at the time, and I was supposed to prepare X amount of letters. Now, these letters will be reviewed by the lawyer, the senior manager, the CEO before it goes out. And the bottleneck here was the CEO, because he had a lot on his plate at the time. All of this happened around COVID time, when working from home was new and it was now becoming the new norm. And that was also when I started my YouTube channel. And I told everyone in the office about it. That was a big mistake on my part. Now, the person that I reported to wanted updates on the letters, but I worked from home and I come to the office sometimes. It's when I come to the office that I give him updates. So whenever I'm not around, he goes to my senior colleague to go ask her how far with the letters. And then she will also say, oh, she's home making YouTube videos. That wasn't the case, by the way. I have been following up on those letters with the CEO, and I guess I was not complaining to the senior manager enough about it. So he didn't really know what was happening, even though I gave him weekly updates. So although I was giving him letters to review, they were not going out as quickly as he wanted. If I had over-communicated or I had proactively communicated my progress to him, maybe he wouldn't have blocked my progression or my promotion, because at the end of the day, that is what happened. So my lesson here was that you have to proactively communicate, and if you say you will do it, do it. If you are unable to, communicate why and add that, oh, maybe you would need more time because of X, Y, and Z. Also, update your manager without being asked. Like I said, be proactive. You're getting it, right? Very good. Another thing is to underpromise and overdeliver. That way, you are managing the expectation of the manager or whoever you are reporting to. But you have to be careful here. I once worked with someone, let's call her Lisa. Lisa was smart. No doubt about that. But every time you ask Lisa to do something like clockwork, she will say, we can't do that, that won't work, or I don't think that is possible. Even when the ask wasn't that mad, like, sis, I'm not asking you to fly to the moon. Here's the thing. Yes, you need to manage the expectation of your managers. And yes, you don't need to say you finish something in 2 hours when you know it will take you 2 days to complete. But constantly pushing back, even on the little tasks, make people see you as difficult, resistant, and not a team player. Eventually, someone more senior on the team asked me to remove Lisa from the team because it looks like she is allergic to work. Her work was fine, but her reputation? Finished. So this is what I do. If I can't commit to something immediately, I say, let me look into it and come back with something more realistic. Or I think it will take longer than expected, but I will map out a plan. That way, I'm not blindly saying yes, but I'm also not just slamming the door. It makes you look thoughtful, not difficult. And people want to work with you. So don't confuse under promising and over delivering with resisting. Sometimes it's less about the task and more about the tone. People don't just remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel when you said it. Have you ever worked with someone like Lisa? Or maybe you are Lisa. No judgment here. We've all had our moments. That leads me to my next point. So one of the best ways to protect your reputation is how you deal with problems. I don't just go to my boss or manager to say, oh, this is broken, fix it, or help me fix it. I remember someone senior asked me to do something and I genuinely didn't have capacity at the time. So I said, oh, can you please give it to Sarah instead? She made a face and said no. I asked why, and she said, Sarah always brings me problems and no solutions. That moment stuck with me because it made me realize you could be working hard, brilliant, even friendly, but if you are seen as someone who is always bringing problems with no solutions, people will start to quietly avoid giving you responsibilities. No one really says this out loud, but people in leadership or your boss doesn't always have the answers. Most of the time, they're just winging it like the rest of us, just with fancier job titles. So when you go to them with thoughts, recommendations, and solutions, and not just complaints and problems. Instead of saying, here's the problem, fix it, you can say, oh, here is the problem, and these are the possible solutions I'm thinking about. What do you think? And suddenly, you are not just the person with the problems, you are the problem solver. This also helps with visibility, by the way. And I call it the problem proposal rule. Another thing that could low-key make or break your career is your vibe at work. So basically, are you the type of person that people want to work with? What I've noticed is in the UK corporate world, people value soft skills heavily, more than we are told. I'm talking about things like being solution focused, not just pointing fingers like I spoke about earlier. Communicating clearly, not sending cryptic emails like you are writing a poetry, or just saying yes or no to a question, even though the question requires a yes or no answer. Taking ownership of your work and taking ownership even if things have gone wrong, and asking good questions, the type that make you look like you are thinking ahead rather than just nodding along. And like I said, you don't need to be the loudest in the room, but if your name is attached to competence, good energy, and they get things done, you will go far, trust me. I've seen people who are not super technical get promotions and get put on important projects because they are seen as reliable, credible, and collaborative, and they make their boss's job easier. One thing I wish more people talked about is that as an immigrant, you're not just working, you're also decoding. You're decoding the small talks, the unspoken rules, or even someone saying, are you alright? And you're fighting the edge to say, I'm not sick. But seriously, you're figuring out the culture whilst also doing your work. That's like 2 jobs in one. And it's a lot. There is this pressure, like, no, it's not always loud, but you feel it that you want to prove yourself. You want to show that you deserve to be in the room. So you start working twice as hard, being extra careful with your tone, how you say things, when you speak up, all while trying to be yourself, or whatever that even means in this country. But here's the thing, we have range. We know how to read the room, adjust and deliver. And that is our superpower, right? That's our skill. That's adaptability. That's value. You bring ideas, perspectives, experience, and ways of thinking that most teams don't even know they need until you show up in the room. So the next time you feel like you're doing too much, just keep this in mind. To wrap this up, just know that Your name will enter a room before you do, so please protect that. Be the person people can count on, not the one they roll their eyes at behind closed doors or behind the team meetings. Keep it professional, stay consistent, and when in doubt, over communicate with clarity. If you're trying to build a reputation in the workplace, see it as planting seeds. Every time you show up, every time you send an email, every time you communicate, every time you present your solutions, you are building your brand in the company. And the goal isn't to be perfect, it's to be intentional. Please let me know in the comments if this helps and what's the one thing you are doing to build your reputation, or has your reputation also gone downhill like mine did? Please like, subscribe, and share this video in your group chats because more immigrants need to know about this. And I will see you in my other videos. Go forth and be unforgettable. In a good way. Bye. So you still haven't subscribed or liked this video? Hey,